Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. We have Max here, and we have David here, who's been on a long sabbatical, right? So Max, I've talked to you lately. David, let's start with you. How have you been doing, man?
Yeah, very well, thank you. It's nice to be back where it all started. Yeah, I've just been obviously when the end of the season come, I fancied a little bit of a break from it all. Not just this, just the football in general. Just wanted to enjoy the World Cup, so I wasn't writing that much either. But over the last week and a half, I've started getting back into the swing of things, and I'm sure it'll continue that way as well.
It's great to have you back, man. Max is also has also returned. Max, how's things been going with you?
I've only just got a root canal done this morning, so I've been writ off for most of today, to be honest.
Painful shit.
First time I've ever had anything like that done to me, like dental wise, and it's not pretty.
No.
Okay. Serious respect to Max for coming and recording and talking football with on the same day that he's had dental work done. That's ridiculous. I've never had a root canal, but I got to be honest, had that happened, I probably wouldn't be recording. Yeah,
not nice.
Well, let's discuss Richarlison. I've written down a bunch of research here, guys, because I was really trying to make myself feel okay about this transfer. I was already okay because when you see 50. Immediately you clinch up, but then you find out it wasn't 50. That's not what it was, right? It's that from what I'm hearing, 35 to 40. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
But so we're talking about a winger / forward. 32 Premier League appearances last season, 5 goals, 4 assists. And most of those appearances are on the left side. So essentially, if Lookman is starting on the left for us right now, those two guys would be competing assuming Lookman stays. Okay? He's 2-footed. He's the most fouled player in the league, more than Hazard, more than Dele Alli, which is a strange stat, but that's true. His defensive stats are strong, guys. Aerial duels, interceptions, and blocks. He's a defensive player as well. So he works hard. He's a hardworking guy. So, guys, we're talking about a guy who had 52 first-team matches in 1 calendar year. All right? He had played in the Brazilian League, then immediately turned around and played for Watford. This summer has been his first break in a really long time, which may explain how he tailed off a bit. First of all, guys, are you comfortable with the fee? And so, Max, let's start with you because you've been doing that little face of yours. And so, let's go ahead and get into that.
I just think, it was one of the, as soon as I saw the, 50, 40, 35, or whatever it is, it made me feel really disheartened because the value of football, I mean, it kind of made me have a bit of perspective because I took a step back and I thought, bloody hell, what could that achieve in the real world? You know what I mean? 40 million, whatever it is. And
it's a dangerous game doing that with football.
The first thing that sprung to my mind was, Luis Figo was worth that. When Luis Figo signed for Real Madrid, that's what he was worth. And I know that speaks of the inflation of football, but if you're talking those type of figures, I said this yesterday, you've got to be looking at individual accolades. You've got to be looking at, has he been part of a league-winning team or has he achieved silverware? And for me, I just don't know. There's just nothing about it. Well, I say I'm not excited about it, but saying that he is 21, and of course there's every possibility that he's going to grow on and be a great player, but I don't see him one of these players that's going to come in and have an immediate impact.
David, what do you think? Are you comfortable with the fee was the question.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I believe it's on the excessive side. The only thing is, a lot has been made of the fee, and certainly I can't compare what you were saying, Max, the two between like the likes of Figo or Zidane, because the game has changed so much, and I'm not even talking about the game changing so much from 20 years ago. We're talking like the last 5 years. You know, it was jaw-dropping that Andy Carroll went to 30-odd million, you know, what was it, maybe 5 years ago, a little bit longer. Whereas now, that just seems to be a steady going transfer fee, and we're talking about, it's not 50 now, it's only 35, and as I said, I do believe it is excessive, but if he turns out to be a good player, if you look at the potential he does have, because we have to have some perspective here. At the end of the day, he's been signed now, so there's no going back. So you have to say positives, and you think, you know, he's a young lad who he's younger than the likes of Davis, isn't he, and the likes of Calvert-Lewin. He had a good, certainly first half of the season last season, so I can live with the fee, to answer your question, Gerry. I can live with it, although I do think it's excessive.
I did a little comparison just because Richarlison's 21 years old, okay? Felipe Anderson is 25. His fee is going to go up to 41.5 or 42. Fabinho, that fee is going to go up to 44. He's 24 years old, all right? Felipe Anderson had 1 cap. Fabinho has 4 caps. All right. Additionally, Fabinho had 1 year left on his contract. Felipe Anderson had, I think, 2 years left on his contract. Richarlison had 4 years left on his contract. Okay. If we're talking about comparison in terms of what the market is right now, a fee of 35 going up to 40 sort of matches. I realize they're different positions.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a huge difference in value because I think those other 2 players, if they had 4 years left on their contract, they would cost more. But the fact that they have they have less years left, I think that's an equalizer, and the fact that Richarlison's only 21. There's more potential there.
But sorry to cut you off, Jay, but I better correct myself and say when I meant to say they were in the same age groups as the likes of Davis and Calvert-Lewin. Sorry, I think technically he's a little bit older by a few months, but I was meant to be saying, you know, that similar age groups.
Oh yeah. So I don't.
Someone will pull.
Oh yeah, they will.
Yeah. Someone was literally already writing on the comments before I've just said that.
They're being specific. It's okay. So I'm okay with the fee when I think about that. If it for some reason rises above 40 though and gets closer to 50 the way it was originally reported, which I don't think it is. If it does that though, even if it does, even if that is true, that means he will have had a dynamite year, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we'll look at it and be like, oh, that was worth it. So yeah.
The thing is as well, we're in a position, aren't we, where we can't attract elite players at this stage because we haven't got much to offer in terms of European football. You know, we could probably go out this week and buy 3 or 4 players who would get in most mid-table sides, but the problem is Everton have ambitions to be more than that. So we need to try and find a medium between the two, players that will improve the side. And I think although he was hit and miss last year, certainly second half of the year after Silva left, I think Richarlison does have the potential to become a good starting 11 player, not just a squad player, a good starting 11. I think we spoke off camera, that a few of us had me, about how he could maybe be this kind of, you know, just what we've been looking for in a break in terms of going on to be an elite player, you know, because we never seem to get that look, do we? You know, like, we expect him to turn out like Balassi, but for all we know, he could be a Salah. All right, we might be dreaming a little bit, but you just don't know, do you? You don't know where that potential can lead to.
Well, I think obviously, just to add to what you were saying and what Gerry's saying, in terms of comparison, I know you can compare them to, you know, the deals that West Ham are doing, and you can go even above that and say, you know, look at the likes of Liverpool. But personally, I think you can only compare it internally. You can only compare it compared to the business that Everton have done over the last few years. And I don't know, I've just kind of got this gut feeling that it might end up like another Balassi. I don't know what it is, but something tells me. I mean, whenever I've seen whenever I've seen these interviews with him, he seems like very manager dependent. You know, he's always first to bring up the managers that he's worked under and the influence that he's had under them. And yeah, granted, I know he's got a really good relationship with Silva, but you know, Silva's got a tendency to, you know, I'm not suggesting that Marco Silva might jump ship, but if he goes through say if he goes through a bad phase, you know, what's that going to do to Richarlison's confidence and form? I'm just worried in case, you know, if it does eventually flop, it's going to bite us on the arse big time.
That's a really reasonable concern. I just needed to say that.
I'd go as far as saying that's the number one fear. I think what Max said there, certainly Balassi, I just think he's the best comparison we've got over the last few years, isn't he? Where considered similar players, and it just hasn't worked out. And yet, Silva is going to be a massive part. He needs to be doing well, I think, for the likes of Richarlison to do well in the team. But yeah, as I said, I just think we've got to have some perspective on it. As I said, a lot has been made about the fee involved, but if you look at two options, would you rather be having the money to pay these fees to get these players in, or be the one looking, you know, through the shop window outside, not being able to afford these players? So yeah, if you're looking for positives, I suppose that's.
I need to mention that Balassi did have a major injury as well, and had he not, we just can't predict what would have happened there. All right.
Yeah, you preach.
I know, but it is a true thing that happened, and he was starting every game for us, and he wasn't the worst player on the field the way he was when he came back from the injury. You know, because when he came back, did any of you ever feel like he looked dangerous in any way? You know what I mean? Except for dangerous maybe to our team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's the only difference, you know, because you can't predict injuries like that. So what would he have to do to make you guys feel more comfortable? And we probably ought to do this one quickly because we're getting a little long.
That's statistics for me. I think, you know, it's been reported, you know, he didn't contribute a goal or assist. I think it was from December. And that's really when I think a good player or a player that wants to make a statement in the Premier League, that's when they start, you know, chipping in with the goals and the assists. Really, if they want to come big and come strong towards the end of the season, I think he's got to be consistent throughout.
I mean, the big one for me, which you touched on before, but making a different point, Max, was Silva. You know, I did have a little look at, you know, I'm like for stats, I do enjoy them. I was having a look at them earlier, and all his goals and assists come with Silva as manager. Whereas after his departure, he didn't register a single goal or assist. So I think he is, as Max said, the type of player who thrives under the right manager. You know, we've got the right manager there now, so I am expecting, especially with the price tag as well, he'll know pressure's on him. And Everton have, and I think he touched on it himself in his quotes, Everton have put a lot of faith into him, so he knows he's got to perform. And I'm just hoping that helps him find an extra 10-20% each game.
I'm just going to say I want at least 8 goals and 5 assists this season. I'm going to be really specific. I want it.
I mean, that is specific.
That's what I want. I want somebody who's able to distribute the ball, and I want somebody who can actually score in the big games. You know, that's what.
That's a big.
That's huge.
Not massive. We haven't got a big game goal scorer, have we? You know, like a Tim Cahill or someone like that. We haven't got it, and we haven't had one for a long time.
I'm secretly hoping Jink Tosin can become that. He hasn't really had a lot of opportunity yet, so I'm really curious to see what happens with him. I want way more than 10 goals for him this season. Just saying. But Richarlison being young, I want him, and he's playing on a little bit more that kind of left forward, that inside forward position he's going to be playing. Yeah, he needs to score, he needs to distribute, and he needs to play. He needs to be able to track back on defense. We'll be able to tell with our eyes whether or not this is a good signing, I think, in the first 10 games. So that is it for our Richarlison segment. I forgot. I'm holding a shirt. That means I support this signing. Brought the shirt with me to the damn shoot. I should at least show it on camera. So if you're digging our videos, please subscribe. We are slowly climbing the subscriber ranks, and that's awesome. do us a favor, check out Max's stuff on the Toffee Blues website. He's got a recent story about Richarlison, where he, puts more of his passion in there. So just saying. Also, David writes some analysis for the Toffee Blues website. David, are you writing for anyone else right now as well? Or is that a tricky question?
And it's no. I'm making it sound a lot more complicated than it is. I've took a break, haven't I, from writing, and I purposely haven't wrote anything for about 6 weeks. But I'll probably start picking up again this weekend onwards. So just keep an eye out for. If you follow me on Twitter, you normally find what I'm up to.
That's right.
On there.
Everybody's Twitter handles are right there on the screen, so you can check those out. Hi.